Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm not going to do my normal guitar-centric thing, although there's going to be a lot of guitars in this video, and you will see. A few years ago, I went down and interviewed Scott Wiley. He owned a really cool studio down in Provo, Utah, and it kind of made me want to start this whole thing where I interviewed recording studios. Anyway, I kind of quit doing that. But Scott, when I interviewed him, talked about how he wanted to open up a new studio, build a studio. And he has now done that. And so this video, I went down to June Audio in Provo and took a tour of the studio, and we interviewed Scott, and it's an amazing studio. Just built on the back of this old house that Scott owned, or he used to own, and then he sold it, and then I don't know the whole story. Anyway, we talk about it in the interview. But yeah, so if you're into recording and into studios, anything music actually, you'll want to watch this one because Scott is just a really cool guy, and the studio is amazing. And here we go. Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm here today in Provo, Utah with Scott Wiley. A few years ago I did another video with him, and he's doing his open house today, so you might hear noise while I'm interviewing Scott because they actually did the open house. I tried to make him do it earlier before they opened today, but he wouldn't do it.
It's my fault.
Because he was cleaning the place.
I was painting.
They were still painting the bathroom. So it's all good. But anyway, I wanted to interview Scott, and then we're going to do a little tour of his new studio. And so when I interviewed you last time...
Were we talking about it last
time?
You
were like, dude, I'm going to have Wes Lachaux design the studio, and I'm going to do all this. And so tell us about, so why did it take so long?
That's a great question. We knew we wanted a new studio and one that we owned, and we started looking around for studio designers and found Wes Lachaux.
Yeah,
a lot from like Gear Sluts and just a lot of different posts and looking at his rooms. So I reached out to him, but that was like 7 or 8 years ago, and we had a lot of opportunities to build different studios. Like one time it was somebody else going to build it, and one time it was maybe just redesigning our old control room and all these different things. But in the end, what we ended up doing is building a space down here in downtown Provo, and we're currently sitting in the old house. So this is the back of the old house, and we've built the studios kind of onto the back of this building. So we were in the old house recording for 3 years while we built this, which worked great some days and not great other days, you know.
I saw your guys' little wheel of food that used to spin for lunch.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I like it down here. There's so many great places to go eat, you know. So the actual building, the planning and the getting a loan and all that stuff took 4 years, you know, something like that. The actual building took just over a year. So we have been working in here for about a month now. But yeah, last night we were still painting and finished. I think we're finished now. I can actually, there's a few things to hook up still, but we're really happy with the rooms. And obviously, we built this whole big new building. It's very soundproof, and it's very different than working in the old house, although the house sounded great. But we've built ourselves two new studios, so kind of increased our availability and our ability to have more sessions going and stuff, because we were pretty full. So
so who so I saw that John Legend was just here.
John Legend was here.
All about?
So a local film company called Kaleidoscope. We have some friends there and have done a lot of work for them over the years, and so they were doing a John Legend Christmas special. And so they asked us if they could come in and record the band live and film.
Yeah.
So they used our bigger Studio One. They used Studio 2 also for like a green room. But they used Studio One. It was a zoo in here. And it was really soon after we opened. I mean, it was within a few weeks of even having things online,
Ready to go.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a test, but it worked great. And so he had piano, he was playing piano, vocals, drummer, upright bass, guitar, 3 horn players, and 3 backup singers.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, so we'll see how it looks.
Yeah.
I haven't.
So is it going to be online then?
That's going to be on. I think it's going to be on BYU TV and or PBS, and I think it's in a couple weeks at the most. So, yeah, that was interesting, and the kind of, I mean, everybody was really nice, and the band was amazing, but it was kind of a zoo, around that. A lot of people in and out. So it was a good test.
Cool. So now you're renting out the front of the house. Are you using it at all, or just renting it to someone else?
No, everything in front of this room is rented by a group of people, but you've got Finn Bjarnson, Nate Pfeiffer, Taylor Pierce, who goes by Zendlo, professionally, Mason Porter, and Steve Mitz. And I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody, but all those guys collectively tend to work a lot for Cascade.
Gotcha.
Nate, they all have their own side productions and things, of course, and I've worked with Nate for a long time. He's had us mix things or record things.
Is he from Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I remember him because I went to school up there, and I'm from up there. So.
You need to go say hi. He's in there. Yeah. He's in there right now.
He knows Greg Downs.
For sure.
Greg Downs and all those guys from Logan.
I didn't know Greg was from Logan.
Yeah, he's from Smithfield.
Okay.
It's Cache Valley.
Yeah.
But Greg started when he was in high school.
I love it. He's a good guy.
And stuff. Yeah. So I love Greg. Played in a band called Sand, and we kind of played.
Oh, really?
In bands.
Yeah.
With each other up in Logan, and then I didn't hear from him for a while. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna open a studio for real." I'm like, "Sweet." So that's when I kind of got the idea of starting to do these videos. But
you're connected to a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know a lot of people. So.
Well, it's great having those guys here. I love when you have multiple studios and you have lots of different artists either meeting each other or who already know each other and collaboration. And I love being downtown because people stop by. We're really close to Velour.
You're right by Velour.
Yeah, so Velour's just out the back door. And
someone could finish their set and come over here and record an album.
Yeah, and we even have buried lines to record from there.
Oh, wow, amazing.
So we trenched out some Cat 6 lines.
Wow.
So we could do a RedNet thing and record in the control room.
Just now, you just did that when you were doing the...
Yeah. So we had the whole back part.
So we'll get to see. So we'll get to see bands that play there, but then we'll get to see really nice audio.
It'd be awesome. We haven't done it yet, but it'll be.
No, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be cool.
It'll be cool. And we're really close, and so get a lot of people stopping by when they have, sound checks and things, and it's just I love the community aspect. And the old location was great, but we were pretty removed, so we didn't see. There weren't a lot of drop-ins.
This is like the perfect location.
Yeah, it's good.
So for those of you guys that watch the channel, I had an old channel called Utah Music Producers, and I haven't done anything with that for a long time. And so I'm going to link Scott's video, the old video, in this description. But if you don't know who Scott is, just talk about maybe some of the bands you've worked with that people may know that just aren't even from Utah. Because I have a lot of followers on my channel.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I mean, Utah-centric bands kind of. We tend to work with most of the bands that are around here, or a lot of them, anyways. Yeah. So the national parks and Moth and the Flame and Fictionist and who else? The Strike and
the Strike. Yeah, I know Brady Bills.
Yeah. So, but we've also worked in this location or in our Provo locations with Neon Trees, and the Killers came down to the house. And
did you ever do anything with? I can't think of the name right now. They're huge.
Oh, Imagine Dragons?
Yeah. Sorry.
I did something with them so long ago. I'm not even sure it was called. I mean, it was so long ago.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
I have been lucky enough to know those guys, and I mixed an album that Joshua James produced for Asia Volkman, who's married to Dan Reynolds, and so had some interactions with them that way too. But we haven't had Imagine Dragons proper in for sure. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But then, like when I was in LA, I worked with some bigger artists or whatever, you know. When
if you guys watch the old video, I talked to Scott about kind of his journey. He went out to LA, and it was just like a lot of hours, and
yeah, there's a lot.
He ended up moving back to Utah because of family.
I grew up out there and moved here, moved back. It's a mess, but it just wasn't my thing. Yeah, you know. Gotcha. I don't mind even. I just didn't want to give up everything for.
Yeah. So tell us about the new rooms. Like, what are we gonna see? Like, why are they cool? Okay. Why should someone come record drums in your room?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, we have a lot of drums, as you'll see.
I know.
I don't even know how to play drums, but I love recording drums. So I like to collect drums because it's so fun to swap out the sounds.
Drums too.
They're so fun to record. Yeah. It's the best. Yeah. But we have two separate studios. They are completely isolated. So we've actually done kind of the rock band in one and the string quartet in the other already, and it's worked really well.
So is this hallway?
This hallway divides
both the studios. Okay.
So you can have drum set on that side, and 10 feet away, you're recording a violin, and you can't hear it. It's kind of amazing.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's obviously something I was really worried about, and we didn't really know until it happened. So it worked.
Yeah. Are these what are the walls like? What'd you have to make the walls out of?
On the inside, on either side is 3 layers of 5/8" sheetrock.
Okay, gotcha.
And then there's MDX, the framed wall. A resilient, floating isolated channel. I can't remember what they call it, but it's like that metal channel that's housed in a rubber holder.
Yeah.
And then the wall.
Wow.
So.
Dang.
It's a lot. It was crazy amounts of drywall.
So did you do I know they do this like a separate.
Slab.
So
we have cut slabs.
Yeah.
So each control room's its own slab, each performance room, and then separate, of course, across. What we didn't do is a floating slab where you pour a new slab on rubber isolators, which is more for isolating from a big truck going by or something.
Oh, yeah.
We're pretty removed, and we only have alleys and things. To be honest with you, we were doing albums in this house, which is just a house from 1904 with nothing, and it worked great.
Yeah.
So we're
seriously.
way above that, and so it was a little bit of a cost trade-off. Can you really afford to do floating slabs? How much are you going to get back from it? So we did not do that. But they are all isolated, cut, and I mean, the whole place it's pretty shocking, the isolation.
So, with these rooms that you have now, the rooms are all Wes show.
Yeah, Wes designed all the studio space.
Now, so when you record drums in there, how many room mics and things are you putting up now? Do you feel like you're doing more of that now?
No. So far we've used just a pair or two of room mics. We haven't gone too crazy, but we also, we've been still working it out.
Yeah.
I've only done 3 drum sessions, so we haven't really tried that. I'll tell you one thing. First of all, the most noticeable thing to me as far as drums go was, for one, and even in this big Studio One that's really ambient or can be, you can tighten it up a lot. I don't know what it is about it, but the reverb time is really diffuse. It's not too long, so even just miking a drum kit and not wanting it to be roomy, you can get it pretty tight.
Yeah.
But the cymbal decay is amazing. I've never worked in a studio with the cymbal decay so great. The way you can hear the tail of the cymbals over the music, and it's not harsh, and you can hear every detail, is really kind of amazing. And
is that from blending the room mics in, or is that from just the room itself?
I think it's the diffusion in the room.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't really know, but
it's just magic happening.
think it's the diffusion and absorption qualities of the room. It's just really, really smooth. And a string quartet, we've done an octet, those things, you just put the room mics up, and it's just it's just exactly what you wish it would be,
Wow, cool.
And so that's been really awesome. It's pretty hard to quantify something on, guitar amps or whatever, where you're shoving the 57 into the grill. But and then the control rooms are so remarkable sounding and so true that it just kind of feels like everything works better. You can just work. Everything's a little bit easier. You just click along, and that's been really great. And I must say, after working in the house, it's really great to have an air conditioning system that's silent. So you don't have to turn it off or freeze during the winter.
Or get too hot during the day.
Yeah.
Yep, I know how that is because I have the one room, my control room in my home studio. The sun hits it in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, and then
in summers in Utah,
bakes.
I had to put a mini split just in that one room. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll have to show you the rooms.
Okay.
We've been real happy with them.
Cool. Well, hey, you guys, we're gonna go check out the studio. Scott, anything else you want to talk about? I think he's pretty excited about just this whole thing.
Yeah,
Finally,
I think so.
I think you're getting pretty excited, right, about this whole thing happening. Being done, maybe.
Being done.
Being done.
Being done. Not painting anymore.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about not painting anymore.
Awesome. Okay. You guys, and also go check out juneaudio.com. You can check out you've probably got pictures of, he pretty much documented the whole studio build, didn't you?
I did,
A lot
yeah.
of it, right?
I liked those. There were threads on Gear Sluts that were build blogs.
Yeah.
And as I was deciding on designers and kind of getting to know the process, I scoured those.
Okay.
So then I decided it might be worthwhile to do it ourselves. So just lots of pictures. I try to do it every week. So there's like 50-something posts on there. And it's pretty geeky stuff, but for somebody in my position trying to build a studio or learn about that, it's invaluable.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. We're out front with Scott.
Yeah.
This is the old house.
This is the old house.
And he's going to take us on a walk through, kind of explain what you guys did. It looks like a lot of the landscaping's new and everything.
We tore out all the landscaping. We had to run a new sewer line all the way out to in the street there. So there was a while we were working in the house where there was a 10-foot trench. And you had to walk over like a piece of wood, and there was no bathrooms. So it was awesome. But yeah, we redid the entire thing. We wanted to kind of try to make the outside somewhere people could go when they have longer sessions, just somewhere to go eat, escape, because you're inside the room with no windows. And so yeah, we tried to have a couple. So built a fire pit here, and these grasses grow really tall, so they're just going to grow in and hopefully provide somewhere you can just kind of hang out. Same thing, just more places to sit. And then if you're working with the guys in the house, you'd go right up that way, and if you're working with us, you kind of come around this way.
Cool. What inspired this right here?
I was just, we had landscapers from Provo called Planted Studio, and we liked the fire pit that they had somewhere else. And so they came up with these, and company in LA makes them, but hopefully these vines will grow and continue.
It feels legit. I feel like I'm walking into a real studio.
Once it's all grown in, I hope it feels more like this is another little space back here that you can kind of hang out. So again, it's just like trying to give people somewhere to go.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Long sessions,
And this is your receptionist.
This is Emily, she's our studio manager.
Emily.
Hi.
My friend Nick built us a beautiful desk, and so this is the wall of the old house here, and so we used to park right here, and so you can see like the old foundation and stuff. But so this is our these are bathrooms, mechanical room with all the electrical panels and stuff, and then this hallway separates the two studios, with Studio 1 on this side and Studio 2 on that side.
Yeah.
And then up here, you can see there's 4 air handlers. There's another one for this common area. But these 4 are for the studio. So you have one for each control room and one for each performance area. And then they're oversized ducts, and they're isolated, and they're hanging from rubber isolators, and there's boots on them, and all this stuff to try to make it really quiet, And they actually are pretty quiet, even when they're running, but it's dead silent in the room, which is the point.
And just, observe or whatever. There's always...
So these are just pictures of old sessions and things. And then there's a magazine called Tape Op. And the guy who draws the Tape Op magazines, I got him to draw.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So like those posters out there are his also. And so we set an elevation of the studio. So this is actually where the vocal booth is, and that's the ceiling. And
Oh, wow.
so it's like you're looking through the wall.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I just told him, give us an assortment of gear, and he had to do this, and then we had a local painter come and
Looks really good, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I saw some pictures of it, but I didn't know it was the guy from Tape Op.
Yeah, I just like his drawings.
Yeah. So then you're just Is this just storage out here?
We just have too many amps and they won't fit in the other room, so they just go out
guys, this is a good, I guess my channel now is catered more to guitar players.
Oh, is that right?
So guys, this is a good problem to have with Scott's. This is Scott's problem.
So this is Studio 2.
Okay.
We'll go in here first, maybe.
Studio 2. So Studio 1's going to be bigger?
Studio 1 is bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is the tracking room. We've got a single booth on this room. All the ceilings in this whole building are that same height as in the hallway, about 19 and a half. But in here, he brought it down to make a tighter space. And there's, he has ratios that things have to be.
Yeah.
So this room just ends up being a little bit lower. There's a lot of space above it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of a tighter space, a little bit less expensive room.
Yeah. It's nice, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this room. It's cozy. And this is our 2 control
So is this
room.
where the decking is then?
This is the decking.
So if you go watch my other video with Scott, this is the console he used to have in his studio that was up in, were you guys in Orem?
In the Riverwoods.
The Riverwoods.
North Provo. So I took the console apart and took all the channels out and everything, and then sent the frame to Tony Brett, Brett Acoustics, and they're the guys who built most of the furniture, did all the installation of all the acoustic stuff, built the gobos and everything, and he built the desk around it. Because we wanted to, it didn't used to have a center section.
Yeah, I know.
And so we wanted to be able to
cool.
put the screen in the middle.
That's very cool.
And so he built the desk around it for us. And then
so
brought it back on a truck when they came and brought all the other stuff.
And then this is just, now I think we went over a lot of your gear. Have you gotten any new pieces since last time
I mean, I built
talked
some
to you?
more 1176s. We got more distressors. We got the Dayking compressors in here. There's some stuff that we needed to. This room has a little bit less gear, although we've been doing a lot of band kind of stuff in here, so it's been working. But
Do you use the tape machine very much? Or is it
no,
just
we
for-
haven't used it. I mean, more for slap echo and stuff like that.
Yeah, gotcha. For like an effect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I do want to get a 2-inch machine in the other room, but it's on back burner for now. The monitoring system is the same in both rooms, so these are ATC 150s. We did the same in both control rooms just to try to make it a little easier to move mixes back and forth.
What'd you do with what were the big,
The Adams?
the Adams, and then you had some other ones that were,
The Barefoots?
Barefoots, yeah.
So we have 5 Barefoots. So because he puts his speakers here
Yeah.
at ear level,
Yeah.
you can't have near fields in the way, so
Yeah.
these have to be on stands.
So are
that
these the
go up.
Barefoots right here?
So these are the smaller Barefoots.
Okay, smaller Barefoots.
So we'll use them in here as near fields, and then when we mix and surround, we'll put them in the rears. And then the TV, same thing. TV has to go up and down, just so you can keep your sight lines.
Very cool, man.
So yeah, we've got 3 of these smaller Barefoots, and then the 2 big ones. So when we set up a surround system, that's what we use.
Cool.
And then these rooms, these little rooms off each control room are just our machine rooms.
Yeah.
So we've got sorry, I can get out of the way,
No,
but
you're
we've
fine.
got our computers, hard drives. This is a patch bay for the plate reverbs and the chamber behind us.
Oh, cool.
And then that's a Cat 6 patch bay for all the Cat 6 points in the studio and for headphones and things. And then Burl converters in both rooms.
And headphones.
Lots of headphones. Lots of headphones. Alright, so this is Studio 1 here.
Sweet.
Yeah, so these Adams were the mains in the old studio. And frankly, I tried to sell them.
The ones up here?
Yeah, I tried to sell them.
Yeah.
And because I don't particularly love them, but they wouldn't sell. And we were like, oh, well, it'd be nice to have some serious, loud speakers in here.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
sure.
what we're using them for. We're probably a little overkill for that purpose, but so yeah, this room is.
Where's the drums at? I wanted to.
I know we didn't have.
That's
the
okay.
room.
That's
Should
okay.
have.
That's
Should
okay.
have.
That's okay.
But this room has our tallest ceilings, with a soffit around for the air conditioning system. But then these
these ceiling clouds they brought in individually, each one, and then they raised them up, hung them, and then raised up the next one. It took them a couple days just to hang them all and get them perfectly level in the whole thing.
So they're like, it's like mathematically sound, like how they did it all. Wow.
So, and then these, they call them bifusers, but these turn. So if you want to change the characteristics of the room, you can go from this diffusive side to a more absorptive side on both sides, and it changes it a lot.
And I think I saw something on John McBride was doing a thing.
Oh yeah, they probably
had the same thing.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
So it changed. It's remarkable how much it changes the room, just moving those. And then in here we've got 3 ISO booths.
Let's go back here.
They've all got windows between them, and then there's cable pass-throughs between the big room and each ISO booth. So if you have a guitar player out there and you want an amp in here or amp head out there, you can go between any of the rooms, or the control room and the tracking room. And the other thing that I did that was pretty trick is in the last ISO booth we put a Leslie connector, because they have those big multi-pin connectors. So if you look over here,
so you can separate.
We can put the
speaker in there.
Yeah, that's weird. We end up doing that a fair amount, so you can see behind this Celeste. That pin connector,
message.
So you'd put the organ out here and the speaker in there, or the other way around. With that, because the doors, these sound doors, they don't like to have cables running underneath them. They just eat cables. So.
Oh my god.
So yeah, they
like how heavy are these? Ooh,
they're pretty heavy.
Wow.
Yeah.
They can fill it.
Yeah, they're heavy doors.
Nice.
And they do it's kind of interesting. We were doing a band session in here a while ago, and we had the band set up, drums and bass and piano and some other things, and then we had a singer, and she was in here, kind of set her up right here, and expected. One thing that Wes talked about as he was designing is that he likes these French doors because if a band's rehearsing, you can keep the doors open. Everybody feels like they're in the same space. Feels very open. Yeah. And then when you're ready to record, you just close the doors.
Gotcha.
And now you have your isolation.
Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of expecting to do, but frankly, the band wasn't so expensive, and there's enough absorption in here that we just left the doors open, and she just sang right here, and it was great. It worked really good.
Yeah, this is like compared to like what a lot of us home studio guys do. I'll have a singer right in the control room.
Oh, so of course,
you're doing fine, Scott. You're doing okay, man.
Oh yeah, these pieces of glass, they're like 3/4 inch laminated on one side and 5/8 tempered. They were massive pieces of glass, and they were really heavy. But this outside one, we had a session scheduled, and they brought it in and started setting it, and then realized it was cut wrong. Like somebody had the wrong dimension on the bottom. Ooh. So the window actually went from here up. Ooh. And so then we had to get a new piece of glass, and then we had this huge piece of glass. Nobody wanted it. They wouldn't take it back. So we took it out back and smashed it. But
I would have taken it.
I guess because it was tempered, they couldn't. You can't recut it.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Oh, so it was worthless.
So yeah, nobody wanted it. We were like, does anybody want this thing? It was really expensive. Nobody wanted it.
That sucks. So here, guys, guitar players, here's how you mic an amp.
Yeah, more amps. These guys are in here. Let's go in this instrument room.
Okay. All right. It's just the room of guitars and drums. Yeah, this is the pictures I've seen.
Yeah. Primarily it was, we didn't want to be moving. In the old place, if you did a session and you need more space, you had to move a lot of stuff from one side of the room to the other. Yeah. So we were really trying to just have a space to store everything, and then people can come in and grab whatever they want and take it in. But
I like how you Velcroed pedals and all sorts of items.
Yeah, we just a lot of Velcro. There's a lot of trips to Home Depot for more Velcro. When we, on the plans, this room was unfinished. Concrete block, no sheetrock. Even we were just going to put a couple outlets in.
Yeah.
And we told the contractor, like, we'd love to do that room, but we don't have the money for it. And so he said, I'm going to make that room happen. And he saved money here and saved money there and called in favors. And the whole room, like,
all the metalwork and everything he did.
This is sweet.
Our contractor was awesome.
So good.
So he helped us design how it's all laid out, and then my friend Nick built some of the drum racks. And
Do you have a number on how many drums you own now?
I don't.
What about guitars?
No idea. That's
It's
pretty
probably
much
better
all
that
of
way,
it.
right?
Yeah, I don't want to know. I think that's all of them. There's one or two at home.
Said you'll like this. See all these synths?
But yeah, it's a lot of drums. And to be honest with you, I never saw it all together in one place.
And this is it, right?
This is pretty much it,
Except for the
except
amps.
for the amps that won't fit.
Yeah.
But once you start putting it all together, I was a little overwhelmed. And it, it's showy so that it sells the studio from Instagram and stuff, but it's a lot.
It's okay, man. It's okay, man. I don't judge.
If anybody's looking to buy some vintage drums, I think we'll be selling some drums.
I feel like I saw this amp right here for sale once.
I have had that amp for sale forever.
Yeah.
It's a super cool amp, and if you were just a guy who just like wanted to play a cool amp and sit in front of it, it's awesome.
Yeah.
For recording, it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's not that it sounds bad, but what it does really cool is it does stereo. So it'll send reverb or tremolo out one side.
What is it again?
It's a Gibson.
Gibson, yeah. Okay.
And so it has two tens facing out. So to sit in front of it is awesome. I mean, it's really fun to play.
And can you do it in stereo? Like put stereo
you
puts
can.
in it? And
You
like
can put
have
stereo
delay
inputs in it, or you can have like reverb on one side, dry on the other
Gotcha,
side.
yeah.
So it's actually a really cool amp, but I haven't found like a way to ever make it sound that cool in the studio. So it doesn't get used a lot. The ones that get used a lot are like.
You know what's interesting though is with you having it like this, I felt like it looked like more when you had that studio where it was just all in one room.
Yeah.
This kind of seems more like you've really thought about where to put everything.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll get more. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, it can't get more. It's too much.
So I mean, maybe it'll get more like.
More organized,
more messy,
Oh,
look
yeah.
more as you're doing work.
It's so hard to keep it all in here that we try to keep it pretty straight. But yeah, I mean, like in the middle of last week, a ton of these drums were in the room, because drummers will come in and just kind of load up carts and say, let's try all of these, and the pedals certainly come and go a lot, but it's just nice having it in one space and out of the way.
Cool, man. Do you have a favorite drum kit or guitar that you want to?
My personal favorite guitar is probably that blue Gibson, and you guys can go up there or something when that blue Gibson 330. Or when I'm playing live, I usually play that red Gretsch.
Okay.
My favorite drum kit varies so much. I just love drums so much. I love this big drum. Like we might have even filmed this last time, but
The drum cell drum?
the drum sail drum. I love this drum. We haven't changed the heads. It says it's painted on there. It says drum sail.
Yeah, no, you told the story about how you found that.
Yeah, hanging in the window.
Yeah.
That drum kit, but lately our favorite is a drum kit that I got from a little shop in Sheridan, Wyoming. Like it's kind of a little bit of a hoarder. He just had a ton of stuff. And he had this Gretsch round edge kit. And there's 2 toms and a snare, 3 toms and a snare, and a kick drum. And it was brand new. It was in cases still. And we love the toms on that. We've been using that a ton.
Cool.
That's been
Awesome.
my favorite lately.
I own that pedal. I own that pedal.
Sorry. Driving straight. Then you can't do.
Acoustics guys had just started with a new diffusion design.
Cocaine.
So when they built them, we got them made out of wood because they wanted them to be kind of showy.
Yeah.
But we would have been able to when we afforded like paint versions,
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we lucked out that they had just started it.
I think he might be the king of luck.
Hope so.
Then he said with a crack in his voice, Better choose love, boy, if you're given the choice.
Big country spot. Big country here. 'Cause you can't. Oh, now it's favorited. Volume's right here. Oh, sweet.
So Scott, what's it like if someone wanted to just come engineer here and rent the place? What's it cost?
So the studio rate in here depends on how many hours you're booking, but we do rent this. We do the studios, and the engineer rate's totally different. So I think that this studio, Jed, you might have to correct me, but
I don't know.
I honestly turned it all over to our studio manager, and I always forget. But I think this room is somewhere between like 65 and like 80 or 85, depending on how many hours. You know? And then the other room goes down to 50 an hour on up to something like 75, depending on how many hours again.
Yeah.
But we have assistants that work.
Yeah.
Well, those 1 hour sessions are kind of a killer, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they're never 1 hour.
So yeah, it's never 1 hour, and it's all the paperwork and work of a long session.
Yeah.
But we have assistants that kind of come with the room. So if you came in and you were like, "Well, I know how to run Pro Tools and I can get a good sound," then we'll have an assistant with you to help you patch and find the mics. And
Oh yeah, you know what I wanted to check out is the mic locker.
oh yeah, you want to come?
We have a surround setup, the traditional.
Yeah. Of course, man. I love microphones.
No, that's an issue.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to figure out a good mic solution. So we needed a place, and we thought about building like a little cage under the stairs. And finally, I was looking online. I found these big cabinets that they make for like seems like mainly mechanics and stuff because they're so kind of heavy duty.
You can't shoot through them.
Yeah, hopefully. And so we ended up getting one of these just to put all the mics in. So we went through and labeled all the mics individually so we could kind of know if one goes wrong, something goes wrong, we can know which one it is. And then they pretty much all fit in there. But it's a good cabinet for that. I mean, it works well, and it's pretty, you can kind of mix it up if you want.
What's your oldest mic?
That's a good question. Well, we've got a pair of Sony C37s down here that are probably fairly old. I'm sure these are early 60s. And then we've got a pair of U67s that might be a little bit older. I'm trying to think of what else we have that's old. I mean, we have a fair amount of older mics, but we have a lot of newer mics too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so hey, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate Scott Wiley, June Audio. Go check it out. He is he's the man. A lot of people look up to Scott because he's been doing this so long and he knows so much, and he's
Very old.
No, you're not old. You're probably not any older than me. How old are you? I bet I'm older than you.
I'm trying to think of how old I'm 46.
You're my age.
Really?
Yeah. Yep, I'll be 47.
We're both old.
In July. But I started out as a kid with just a tape recorder, and I loved it. And then when I was in high school, I got a 4-track.
This is me too.
And but then when I went to college, I took the traditional route, and I went into business, and I went and got a real job. And Scott's one of those guys that he kind of went for it. And I look up to that. And it's so awesome that you did it, and now look what he has to show for it, a really cool studio. And I think that, I mean, it's taken you a long time, but this is kind of a dream come true for you kind of type thing,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
I mean, my dream really is to have... I love the studio. It is a little showier, and it's more than I thought it was going to be. It's pretty hard to tell what you're getting on the plans.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just beautiful, and it's awesome, but really what I just wanted was it to be a great studio that helps musicians be inspired and have fun recording and make good recordings, and I love the community aspect of it, and so I wasn't, my dream isn't to like own some really fancy place. It's to like have those people come through and make great art and have fun. Yeah. It's just I love the relationships,
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for doing this. You guys, please.
I'm sorry it was so crazy today.
No, that's okay. This was actually a good day probably to come because you weren't like jumping in between a session or this or that.
For sure. Yeah,
so
it's nice that way.
Even though it was noisy, it was all good. Guys, if you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also go check out my other channel, Utah Music Producers, which I really haven't done a lot on there. I might post this video on there as well because there's probably a lot of people that subscribe to that channel in the past that know Scott. So go check out those other videos. What's interesting is a lot of the studios I did those interviews with have closed since I interviewed you. So, but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Scott, appreciate your time, dude.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks for doing this on a busy day like this.
No
man.
problem.
Okay, see you guys.